Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. I'm Chili from the Ultimate Guide Group, your go-to place for all things adulting. So make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and let's get started. So for those who may not know, I bought my first property in April 2021 and it's now a year later. I can't believe it, a year later, and there have been a couple of updates to the property. Again, if you're not following us on Instagram, make sure you are. That was where we went through this whole reno process that I did on my property. And there are a couple of videos on YouTube that you might want to look at in case you're interested. And we had a couple of questions on our Instagram running through all things reno and the tips and tricks that we would give and all of that kind of stuff. We did do a post, which we'll leave here, so definitely go and check out our Instagram channel. But I wanted to run through some of the questions that we received. I am going to be looking at my phone because there's a lot of questions that came through on my phone. So one of the biggest questions we got was basically how much do they cost? When I look at everything, just for labor, by the way, because the materials, I'm still getting materials in, I'm still like trying to update my budget spreadsheet, and if you're interested in purchasing that budget spreadsheet, definitely look at the description box down below. There'll be a link for you to be able to purchase it. We're looking at about 43,000. I put on the stories that it was 37,000, but that was just for the ex-builder. The amounts that I needed to correct what he had done, the additional work that I needed to get done for the main bathroom, and I set a picture here of what needs to be done for the main bathroom, we're looking at £43,000 on just labour. Another question that I get asked quite frequently is where it is that I bought. So I bought in Emerson Park, which is a area in the London Borough of Havering. It's kind of London, but really is kind of just Essex. And the reason why I chose this place is because it is close to transport links. It's about a 10-minute walk to Hornchet Station, about a 15-minute walk to Gideon Park Station, and then its own station, so the Emerson Park, is about a 3 to 5 minute walk, depending on how fast you're walking. And then there are quite a lot of bus transport links. I have a lot of space on the road, so I can park my car. I have my own drive. I have a shared drive. And it was also 10 minutes or so away from where it is I went to sixth form. And so I knew the area quite well. I was quite familiar with the area, and I love Essex. I'm an Essex girl, to be honest. Then another person asked, unrelated, why did you choose to buy a house farther out than a flat close to work? So as I said in my stories, number one, watch this space. In the next 2 to 3 years, there'll be a lot of updates as it relates to my property portfolio. So watch this space, and we'll definitely document that all on this YouTube channel. So make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss an upload. And definitely comment down below, I will subscribe, so that you know that you're kept up to date with what my property portfolio will look like in the next 2 to 3 years. Then I have 5 separate reasons why it is I bought the house. So number one, more value for my money. If I'm spending nearly 500k in a flat in London, there's no way that I'll be able to get a 4-bed property with a garden, loads of parking space, a drive and a shared drive close to transport links. Number two, more return on my investment. So in total, I put in like, I don't know, it was 60 plus 50, so like 120,000 in terms of my investment. My house right now has increased significantly. We're looking at, like, I bought it for 483,000 and it's now probably at 650,000. Fingers crossed it continues to go up, but there's been a significant amount of increase in equity. And so I knew that I would be able to get something similar out here in Essex, given the comparables and given the way that the market has grown on my road, that I don't think I would have been able to receive or benefit from in a year in London. I might be wrong, but that's definitely what I felt when I was looking and searching. Number three, space. I had spent basically the last 28 to 29 years in my mother's house, and I love her to pieces, but it meant that I was in my own room and I slept there, I chilled there, I entertained there, I had my desk there, and that was basically all I had, like that one small room space. And I kind of wanted the ability to move up and down, in particular with the pandemic, to go and work in one room if I'm chilling, and then work in another room if I'm actually properly working, and work downstairs if I wanted to chill but work, and just have a different variance of space, just because it was 2 years in the same 4 walls. And number four was the garden. Like, again, I was searching during the pandemic, and so a garden was super important to so many different people because we weren't allowed to go anywhere. And that was one of the things that really drew me to this property. The garden, right now it's not great, but definitely when I moved in, the garden was beautiful. And then the last reason was just because of childhood. There was loads of things that happened with my house when I was younger. If anything did happen to my mother's house, there was still a house that people could go chill, relax in, and know that everything was sorted. So then people have asked for the specific breakdown of the bathroom costs. I imagine that people kind of trying to update their bathrooms and things. So for my main bathroom, and I sent a video here, that cost £5,415.50, by the way, to tile the toilet cabinet. And I'll set a picture here in case you're interested in what that looks like. And the materials costed £2,215.50. That won't increase, that's going to stay as it is, because I already have tiles left over from the tiling previously, so that should be enough for the new tilers to be able to tile it. I will need to buy a mirror, I will need to buy furnishings and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not including in the reno cost, because you could just be able to I've got small mirrors that you could use if you wanted to. The actual refurb cost about £5,415. Then in respect of the ensuite, that cost me £5,121,000. The reason why that was so much more expensive than the downstairs bathroom is because the downstairs bathroom, or the first floor bathroom, was already there. There wasn't that much for them to do apart from reconfigure the space. Whereas the ensuite, that was actually built, that wasn't there previously. There was a toilet there, but there wasn't a shower. There was kind of a sink, but not really. And so he had to kind of build that from scratch, which is why it was so expensive. The labour was £5,000, and that's literally because he had to rebuild the whole place from scratch. So sorry, I made a mistake on that. The labour was £5,000, and the materials were £1,871.20. So in total, it was £6,871.20. So yeah, I forgot about that. That was the discrepancy. So the next question was, well done, Chidi. Thank you, I really appreciate it. Any tips for first-time buyers buying in 2022? So we did do a video here, which is all the things that you want to discuss or look at when it is you're buying your very first property. 2022 is the ghetto. It really is the ghetto as it relates to the housing market. People will be outbid like crazy. I think the main thing for you is to work out what it is your budget is. And if you can, definitely do. I know people who have outbid, there are people who have been able to overbid 30,000, 50,000, 60,000 and still not get the house. But if you can increase your budget to allow for a house that you know that you love, that might help in terms of getting the offer. Where you can increase your deposit, that is great, and so then it means that you're not looking for so much money, and hopefully it's quicker for you through the mortgage process. And then the last thing is to be more flexible with the locations. So not just looking at the place that you know that you want to be at, recognizing that there are loads of other places. London isn't the only place, Essex isn't the only place, Kent isn't the only place. And with so many more jobs becoming more remote, it might be beneficial for you to think about other places outside of London, Kent, Essex, so that you're reducing the amount in terms of how much houses cost. And so being able to increase your budget and as a result, increase the amount you're able to offer on a property. Last question I think we've gotten, was how much was the kitchen? So how much was the kitchen reno including the skylight? So I needed to update my schedule and update my budget and all that kind of stuff. And I realized that it came to £14,000 thereabouts. So the labor itself cost about £5,000 thereabouts, and the rest of the materials, everything the kitchen needed, was about £9,000 in total. Yeah. And that's it. That's the end of the questions I had. If there are any questions that you're interested in, I can happily do a part 2. I can go through all the tips and tricks. Like I said, we did do a post of all the things that I've learned during my reno process. I am planning on doing so many more. It was so stressful during the period, but now that I'm done and now that I understand how the whole process works, what things you need to be on the lookout for, what are red flags, what aren't red flags, recognizing that all problems in general are fixable and solvable. It may take longer than you anticipated, or they may take more money than you anticipated. But regardless, and this is actually something that my sponsor told me, regardless, all things are solvable. Makes it a lot easier for you to go into new projects, new renos, new property investments. And so yeah, I'm very much looking forward to my next property investment. My friends are going to kill me because I said a lot during this whole process. I will never do this again. But now living in the property, now really getting to enjoy the fruits of my labor, I'm very excited for the next project. So definitely stay tuned. There's a lot happening in the next 2 to 3 years and you don't want to miss out. Again, if you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments down below. More than happy to do a part 2. More than happy to share all the details of everything that I bought, how much they costed, the people that I used, if I would recommend them, all of that kind of stuff, because the ultimate goal is to make sure that everybody is able to do, has a good reference point, number one, and is able to do the exact same thing, right? It would be great to see all of you in your houses having completed all your renovations and able to give the exact same knowledge or similar knowledge to anybody who's thinking about doing it as well. So that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments down below. But like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.